In the heart of an empire that no longer knew how to distinguish glory from decay, a child was born, surrounded by silences that unsettled even the most loyal members of the crown. They said the golden cradle hid something that should never have come into the world, and that behind the forced smiles of the royalty existed a deep, almost ancestral fear. The court whispered that the queen had paid an unthinkable price to preserve the purity of her bloodline, ignoring ancient warnings that spoke of the dangers of uniting blood too close to its own. Every gesture she made carried an invisible weight, as if the woman herself knew she had given life not to an heir, but to a consequence. And while the palace doors remained closed to the people, the echoes of that forbidden birth spread through cold corridors, announcing that history was about to reveal one of the most disturbing chapters the crown had ever tried to hide from the world. From an early age, the young prince began to show signs that no tutor could explain. His eyes, always restless, wandered the room as if searching for something no one else could see, while his behavior shifted between long silences and fits of fury that made servants abandon their posts. Doctors of the time, fearing to contradict the queen, attributed everything to a strong temperament. But within the most hidden walls of the palace circulated reports of entire nights in which screams echoed through the royal chambers without anyone daring to intervene. The court had witnessed problematic heirs before, but that boy carried profound marks, as if destiny were claiming a pact sealed long before his birth. The queen, suffocated by a guilt she would never admit publicly, tried to protect her son from the very reputation that condemned him. But the more she hid his deformities and outbursts, the stronger grew the certainty that something monstrous was taking shape there, nourished by the tradition that insisted on keeping the bloodline pure. As the years passed, it became impossible to conceal what he had become. Raised in isolation, the prince developed a restless intelligence, capable of manipulating advisors and even generals with an almost inhuman coldness. His gestures, once erratic, were now calculated, as if he understood that the future of the kingdom could be shaped in his favor as long as everyone continued to fear his presence. Reports began to surface of animals found dead in the royal gardens, of servants disappearing without explanation, and of secret meetings in which brutal decisions were made under the influence of that heir who should never have existed. Realizing she had given birth not to a successor, but to a silent threat, the queen was consumed by a despair that no imperial mantle could conceal. With each new rumor, the population distanced itself further from the royal family, and within the castle a question began to form, one that no one dared to say aloud. How far would the kingdom go to protect the monster it had created?